It all started with a vision of learning through rhythm. The vision to inspire the understanding of cultural heritage of the South Asian arts. For Bithika Raha, the artistic director of Nrityakala Dance Heritage, this resulted in a series of pioneering works over the last 36 years, which had inspired many artists like myself. I have always been intrigued by her story, which I heard in between rehearsals and stage shows while performing in her productions on many occasions. When Mrs. Shantha Rao, the artistic director of Annapurna Indian Dance, approached me to interview her, I jumped on the opportunity to be inspired once again.
Hello.
Hello, Bithika aunty.
Come in.
As I entered her beautiful North London residence, my eyes caught on the numerous awards and accolades she has received. Among all her works, she is perhaps best known for taking Rabindranath Tagore to a wider audience, while engaging community people, children and young adults. So when we sat down to talk, this was naturally the first topic that came in my mind. Can you mention a couple of your most memorable works on Tagore?
Before I answer your question, I wish to thank Annapurna Dance Company and its director Shantha Rao for inviting me to talk about our activities on this great International Women's Day. It's a great honor and thank you. Talking about the memorable, the first thing comes to my mind is our show Tashi Desh in Hindi, Land of Cards, that I did in 1992 for Mother Teresa's Nirmal Hriday charity show. I had students in my classes where they came from all different places, all different languages, Hindi, Gujarati, Punjabi, Urdu speaking from Pakistan. These children had no idea of dance, not to speak of miming.
Yeah, coming from Pakistan, we have never had the chance to actually read him simply because his work, it was through this dance drama which I was introduced to him.
The younger participants took part in making the costumes as well. So it is not only doing a show, it is teaching the young people how to be involved in artwork. My next project is Karnakunti, a poem by Tagore in Bengali, which I wanted to present in English. So I was very fortunate to have Dr. Ketuki Kushari Tyson of Oxford University, whom we commissioned to do the translation. And we were extremely fortunate to get a very well-known film actor, Shobhon Azmi, and she brought Farooq Sheikh, who is now passed away. And I got them to do the recitation.
O my son, with a divine right indeed, you had one day come to this land.
It's a beautiful experience of my life. I never expected actors of their caliber would take my direction, because they understood that they are reciting for dancers. That particular show has been appreciated everywhere. Wherever we have presented, whether in America, all over Europe, even in India, like Mumbai, in Kolkata, and the kind of feedback I got, they say, we never can imagine how a poem can be presented in such a way where there is miming, there is acting, there is emotion. That was a biggest satisfaction that I received.
So, how did you take Tigo to a wider audience?
I thought of publishing a CD in different languages, which I think will be very beneficial for the younger people and the local people, and also people who wanted to know Tagore but never could read because they are in Bengali.
पवन वेग धाए देखो सागर में लहर लहर.
So in many moods we published in 2007 in Hindi, English and Bengali, and by very, very famous people like Pandit Ajay Chakrabarti, Soumitra Chatterjee, Shan, Bapi Lahiri.
जाऊं जाऊं मैं तो जाऊं चला सौदाई राहों पे जाऊं मैं तो जाऊं.
Our next work was a documentary called A Touch of Tagore that we did on the project Legacy.
Have you ever heard of Tagore?
Tagore? No, I haven't. No.
Yes, I have. I have heard of Tagore. Have you ever heard of Tagore dance?
That Touch of Tagore is just to bring the poet in a very simplest way for the people who have never heard his name. We are extremely fortunate to have our patron, who is Lord Navneet Dholakia. And he gave us one of the finest room in House of Lords. And we did an event called A Garland of Pearls.
And your own example of your own organization, of which I'm a patron, was that we had one of your function in the House of Lords, the highest authority in this country, to be able to understand what Tagore was all about.
And in House of Commons, we did another event called The Legend Lives On, to celebrate the 100 years of Nobel Prize to Tagore. And then we did 2-3 more shows in Portkallis House of Commons. So the Tagore went to the Parliament only through Nrityakala dance heritage. Everything was related to the retention of culture, retention of the writings of few important poets. So that's how I went on taking Tagore to a very, very wider audience.
One of the lesser known classical dance form in India is Manipuri dance, originated in the state of Manipur. Given her training in this dance form, Bithika ji realized that Manipuri dance has often been overlooked in the South Asian dance fraternity in the UK. So she went on to produce works that promoted this dance form. Can you tell us a bit about the works you have done on Manipuri dance?
After a long time, when I entered this cultural world of London, I started doing quite a few dance theatres. So all this dance theatre, I used Manipuri dance a lot because I was a trained Manipuri dancer. And at that time, I was observing the dance world of London, and I came to conclusion that Manipuri dance as a classical dance form is not known at all. So I decided to make a film, and that film is called In Pursuit of Love and Devotion. And I explained the present situation of Manipuri dance in this country. I decided to really familiarize the costumes, the music, the dance form. So I invited a very renowned Manipuri dancer called Bimbavati in 2008 when we did a big show, and she demonstrated the Manipuri dance. In my own way, I never stopped presenting Manipuri dance. And one particular show I did it in House of Commons, where I wanted to highlight Manipuri dance in the background of other classical dance form, because these are the places where it draws the attention of many people. And I think the name of Manipuri went many places. I personally performed at a time when it was almost dormant. Not that Manipuri never came here. Yes, Manipuri dance was brought here when the Javadi sisters and Guru Kalavati Devi came on invitation of Birendra Shankarji. That was probably in 70s or 60s, I'm not sure. I wasn't here. But when I noticed that it is almost dormant, I tried, and I feel it worked. And I believe a time will come, a new dancer will come and take this dance forward.
In 2005, Bithika ji received the prestigious Heritage Lottery Fund to produce a documentary film on the oral history of Bengal called At Home in London. I was curious to know how the idea of making this film came to her mind and how she took it forward to communities beyond Bengal.
So, At Home in London, it just happened. When I had the meeting with the member of a Heritage Lottery Fund for a long time, she just mentioned, do you think you would like to do an oral history of Bengali community? I always wanted to work in education, through my art form. And she also thought that I am Bengali and I'm from Bangladesh. That is where it clicked, because in England, most of the people are not aware of the people from West Bengal. I thought of making a film about the Bengalis, taking a period from 1950s to 2000, people who arrived in London from India and Bangladesh, their history. The whole point was that we wanted to show how these immigrants in this country struggled and gone through so many hardship, but contributed so well that their contribution has to be celebrated.
Oral history is the recording of people's memories, feelings, attitudes and experiences for posterity. Oral history is first-hand evidence of the immediate past by word of mouth. Oral history is about facts, but it also records memories and opinions that are open to debate, analysis, evaluation and interpretation.
These stories of the Bengalis actually is not a story of the Bengalis only. It is a story of any immigrants. They all struggled exactly the similar way. And fortunately, this film was connected with the national curriculum of this country for the Key Stage 3 and 4. And that was one of the biggest satisfaction I had. Dr. Marland, who was the educational consultant for our project, he highly recommended this film to be shown in every school because he thought it was the most befitting educational resource for the children to know the immigrant, to see how we have enriched this country. And he recommended everybody should see that film. You need people, you need financial assistance to take it forward, but we couldn't. But I still have it in mind that if I appeal to the people that we don't have fun, but you take it forward, any teacher or anybody who thinks that our story should be seen, please do come forward and take this forward.
Looking into future, what advice you have for young artists?
That's a lovely question. But I do not give any advice to the young artists because I have worked with many young artists like yourself. You all are much more intelligent, much more capable than we were. But I can tell you, we have struggled, we have done full-time job, raised our children, traveled everything, did the hard work. But the pleasure we got from involving people, giving the time to them, that pleasure is the biggest award you can earn. That's what I can say, that you carry on your own passion, keep on doing your own work, but try to be involved a bit with the community, with people, give some time to them. That extra pleasure that you will get from working with them, that is the biggest thing in this world. And I shall always remember these beautiful stories, the times, the enjoyment, the pleasure I had working with people. You will forget all the bad times and it will remain in your heart forever.
As I spent the rest of the afternoon being inspired by her wisdom, it seemed clear that all her work has been reaffirming pride in Indian heritage and values. She is very optimistic about the future of Indian culture in the UK and looking forward to have young artists to take the works of Nritya Kala forward with new ideas and imagination.